Estuary News tonight, a major development for Grimsby, a new voice for the seafood industry and a wildlife sanctuary in Scunthorpe. And later in tonight's programme, Lauren Alexander and Toby Wells on Taking to the Skies for Charity. Before that, Matt McNally on his charity quest for the RNLI. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Monday's programme with me, Luke Adams. First tonight, an ambitious multi-million-pound plan to embrace Grimsby's maritime past has been unveiled by North East Lincolnshire Council today. The proposed Greater Grimsby project will rejuvenate the town centre with new cultural and leisure facilities through the redevelopment of Victoria Mills and the Casbah at the Port of Grimsby. It will also see a new higher education presence and create over 5,000 jobs. It's hoped the 10-year project will become the blueprint for how similar towns across the country work with central government on regeneration. The next steps to ensure the plans go ahead will be discussed by the Council's Cabinet next Monday. The MP for Great Grimsby says her new position as the chair of the all-party parliamentary group for fisheries will help create a better deal for the town's seafood industry. Melanie On says it's vital those working in the sector have their voices heard on key issues. She'll also hold the government to account on their policies towards fisheries.
Obviously, fishing is a massive part of Grimsby's heritage, but we've also got some key parts of the sector that continue to operate very, very successfully. So we have a small catching sector, but largely in the processing side and Grimsby Fish Market. And we've also got an interest around protective geographic status of our smoked salmon and smoked haddock that operates out of Grimsby Docks. So it's really about making sure that all of those industries and everybody who earns their livelihood as a result of it have their voices heard, and that the issues that might be affecting those industries, whether it's import or export, or whether it's about the 200-mile fishing limit off the coast, all of those things are taken to government at the highest levels and presented to them to make sure that Grimsby's industries don't suffer.
A man has sustained head injuries during an assault in Grimsby. The incident happened in the earlier hours of yesterday morning outside the Bank pub on Bethlehem Street. A 27-year-old local man has been arrested on suspicion of wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. He's been released from police pending further inquiries. Meanwhile, Lincolnshire Police would like to trace the two men captured in these CCTV images. It's in relation to a burglary in Skegness. A handbag was stolen from a property in Richmond Drive on the 3rd of April. Credit cards in the bag were used at the Spa shop on Drummond Road. If you're either of the two people in the images or know who they are, contact Skegness CID via the non-emergency number 101. The MP for Beverley and Holderness, Graham Stewart, has pressed NHS England to improve NHS dentistry provision across the area. Residents living in Beverley in East Yorkshire are being told to travel to neighbouring Cottingham in the hope of obtaining dentistry through the NHS. Practices in Beverley are not accepting any new patients. The MP has wrote to the Director of Commissioning at NHS England, Moira Dummer, to take urgent action on the situation. More than 40,000 people helped celebrate 50 years of freedom over the weekend. The annual Hull Pride event drew in huge crowds in Queen's Gardens as the city hosted the first UK National Pride on Saturday. Singers Mark Almond and Sonia entertained the crowds, and a float featuring 50 LGBT icons formed part of the parade. A week-long series of events are now taking place in Hull this week to mark 50 years since the partial decriminalisation of homosexuality in the UK. Now, a group of gardeners are transforming an area of their allotment into a wildlife sanctuary in Scunthorpe. Led by Barry Cottis, the disused land in Healy Road allotments will become an education centre for local school children and encourage wildlife to the area. The group have teamed up with several sponsors to help raise funds for the transformation, including Ongo Homes and the Lincolnshire Co-op. Barry says a key element of the centre will be teaching the children about nature.
We were fortunate enough to get this piece of land from the council on a lease of 30 years. We're looking to develop an education and wildlife centre to benefit not only the local people but also children. We have schools come down and it will be an extension for them. It will be an outdoor classroom. We're planning to build a 12-metre square pond with a pond dipping area. We're having wide paths, so it's disabled access and friendly. There's going to be sensory areas where we have interplanting in the grass with sensory plants, so it releases fragrances for people that walk on it. And generally, it's going to be a legacy that we leave for people that are in the local area. I think children really do need to know what's around them. Unfortunately, in an industrial city, you've got an awful lot of heavy industry. And I think something like this where people can come and just chill and relax, and we're going to extend it into sort of using people from care homes that can come down and just chill and look at nature passing by. And also get involved and do a bit of planting at the right time and helping on the site, so it's going to be great.
The RNLI are looking for people to race the streets of Hull, all in aid of charity. To tell me more, I'm delighted to welcome my first guest tonight, Matt McNally, volunteer for the RNLI in Cleethorpes. Good evening, Matt. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. Did you race into the studio this evening?
No,
my first question.
Not myself. I went for the car instead. It's a bit rainy for racing today.
It is, unfortunately, and a bit choppy on the shores of Cleethorpes Beach, no doubt.
It is this morning. It was well rough.
Well rough indeed. Matt, you're here to tell me about the RB Hull Marathon. First of all, when is that taking place?
So it's on the 24th of September this year. It's going to be starting at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. And that's going to be taking place around Hull.
Oh, yep.
A revised route, slightly different to last year, but it's going to be picking up some of the local landmarks in the area, isn't it? So what will some of the sites, what people will see when they're doing this race?
Yeah, the route's been revised to show off the best that the City of Culture has got to offer. So it's going to be around the Old Town, past the Burn Lighthouse, over the Humber Bridge, through the docks, and then finishing in the KCOM Stadium for a real enthusiastic, good crowd spirit cheering people over the finish line.
Okay, fantastic. And how long roughly will the race take, or is that dependent on the individuals taking part?
It's completely dependent on the individual. So 26 miles and something to run in a marathon. The best people are doing it in 2 hours something, but others, 5-6 hours. I think if I were to run a marathon, I'd be thinking 6 hours would be where I'd be going for.
And is it a race, or can people do this at their own pace and leisure?
It's a race for the elites,
Okay.
but anybody else can have a go. Just take part, just have fun. It's a massive challenge to run that sort of distance, but it's a great personal challenge, and if people can do it to support us as well, then it's doing a good thing too.
Matt, why should people take part to help support the RNLI?
The RNLI is dependent completely on donations and public money, public donations to fund our search and rescue service. So we operate 237 lifeboat stations around the UK, 4 in the East Yorkshire area. So Cleethorpes, Withensea, Bridlington and the Humber lifeboat. All those stations run entirely on public contributions. So this is a great way to keep our boats afloat.
And a vital way, to keep the successful running of the charity. Yep. So all the money raised through sponsorship and fundraising for this event, that will be ploughed into the RNLI locally. Is that correct?
That's right. We'll go to fund operations, so equipment for our crews, fuel for the boats, first aid supplies, everything we do.
Okay, fantastic. Matt, how vital is the RNLI to saving lives at sea?
It's the primary provision of life saving around the coast of the UK. We've got a long heritage. We were founded in 1824. We've saved probably 140,000 lives since then. Nowadays we rescue 24 people a day through our lifeboats, and many more through the lifeguards who guard beaches all around the country and in the local area.
So you do a vitally important job. Matt, advice from you. If people are experiencing danger with the sea, what should they do?
It's a really simple message, and it's a message that we want more people to know. And it's simply this: just dial 999, ask for the Coast Guard and tell them what you see. It doesn't matter if it's a false alarm. If you're phoning us up or phoning the Coast Guard with good intent, we'd rather know about it and be there just in case we're needed.
And for peace of mind.
Yeah.
And likewise, is that the same principle, Matt, if people witness a particular incident developing at sea? Should they follow that same process?
Yeah, absolutely. Just dial 999, ask for the Coast Guard.
Okay, fantastic. Matt, back to the race on the 24th of September. How can people take part? What do they need to do if they would like to sign up to support the charity? So
you can sign up on the website for the Hull Marathon. Just Google Hull Marathon, that'll take you to the website where you can register. And then if you drop us an email at fundraising@rnli.org.uk, we'll get you set up with everything you need, with a running vest, with a sponsor form, information. We'll have a team there on the day to cheer you along, and that's everything you need.
Everything you need, including lots of water.
Lots of water. I think there's 10 water stops as you go around.
Okay.
So we're hoping for really nice weather. And
yes, because September can be. We do get nice weather in September, don't we? Sometimes. I mean, it's not very nice there at the moment. So let's hope there's better weather towards the end of that particular month.
Absolutely.
Matt, roughly how many people are on board at the moment? Are you aware of how many people are taking part?
We're just starting to get entries in now. We've got a couple of dozen people in already. One of the really good things with the Hull Marathon is you don't have to run the whole thing yourself. You can enter as a team of 2 or as a team of 4.
Okay.
So we've got a few people thinking about doing that. And that's a great thing maybe for a group from work or from a group of friends to be able to sort of spread that distance around.
So this marathon then appeals to everybody.
Everybody.
Really? And like you said, people of all backgrounds and all ages can take part.
There's even a family fun run just before it starts as well. So
before 9 o'clock?
I think it's very early in the morning.
Early.
So if you're going along to cheer on somebody, you can do a little bit of a fun run while they're getting ready to start.
And get warmed up.
Yeah.
Get warmed up. Matt, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Just quickly give me those contact details again.
So to get in touch with us, it's fundraising@rnli.org.uk.
Wonderful, Matt. I wish you all the best with your campaign. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Join me after the break when I'll be talking to Lauren Alexander and Toby Wells about flying high for charity and Beverley from above the skies, thanks to a new exhibition. Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come tonight, Jack brings us a roundup of all the latest sporting action and flying high for charity with Lauren Alexander and Toby Wells. The latest in a series of temporary exhibitions at Beverley's Guildhall is now open to the public. Glimpses of history from above captures Beverley from the skies. The exhibition highlights the town's archaeological heritage, recognising buildings and landmarks both past and present. Klaus Tyra, who put the exhibition together, reveals how it came about.
We've got a series of 13 photographs of Beverley taken from the air, and they're nice, good low-level shots, so you can see most of the buildings in good detail. The photos were taken in 2014. They were actually commissioned. We just wanted one shot for another exhibition that we were doing, just a big wide shot of Beverley. But we ended up with about 70 different photos, which I spent the last sort of 2 years poring over in deep fascination. And I suggested to my boss that maybe we should do an exhibition with them because, they're fantastic photos and they're just sitting there with only me looking at them.
With her boss's approval, Klosk spent 2 years creating this geographically themed exhibition, which illuminates Beverley's architectural heritage.
Well, this one here, you can, first of all, we've got the most well-known course of the Walker Beck, which starts up on the westward and comes along Willow Grove and then past North Bar and then coming down Old Walker Gate and through the town, crossing Tolgavel here, through the town and along the edge of Hallgarth Field, and then eventually it comes down here and goes way off into the background here. Well, there's just a lot of history to Beverley, and you can see it in the sort of layers of the dates of the buildings through the town, and it is an important town, and it goes right back to medieval times, and everyone should, there's a lot to find out about it.
A bit of a sporting charity theme with my guest tonight. A group of daredevils with a head for heights are taking part in a skydive for charity. To tell me more about the challenge ahead, I'm delighted to welcome my second guest this evening, Lauren Alexander and Toby Wells. Good evening. Welcome to the programme. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. You didn't skydive to the studio?
No, drove.
Excellent.
It's a bit wet outside. Excellent.
A skydive, Lauren. First of all, why a skydive?
Why not? Every charity does them. So we've decided to get people to jump out of a plane and raise some money. And
Toby, you're one of the brave souls who is taking part in the skydive. You was the first person to sign up, I believe?
Apparently so, yeah. Luck of the draw, I guess.
So what made you want to take part in the event?
Well, I suppose I was just having my coffee and I looked on the hub while I was working and it just seemed to pop up on the hub and not the sort of normal stuff you see on there, so I thought I'd sign up.
So you've never done anything like this before? This is a brand new challenge?
Yeah, brand new challenge,
So you've got nerves of steel?
No, not quite, no. Not quite, no. I suppose I'll just give it my best shot. Yeah,
your best shot. How is fundraising going for yourself so far?
It's going okay. I know a few people that have done a lot better than me, including Ian, the postman from work. I mean, he gets on the rounds, doesn't he? I think he's raised about 600 quid. I've done 100. Need to raise 500 to actually do the jump. So, yeah.
Because the event's taking place in September, isn't it?
Yeah,
Lawrence?
the 30th of September.
At Hibblestur.
Yes, yeah.
Hibblestur. So there's still a bit of time for people like Toby to get those all-important funds together.
Sure.
Lauren, the funds, how will they be used at both Scunthorpe and Grimsby Hospital? What is this fundraising appeal all about?
So the skydive is specifically for the rear into gear appeal.
Okay.
The rear into gear appeal is our latest appeal, which we launched in May, to raise money for laparoscopic equipment, or if you're not quite so surgical and clinical, that's keyhole surgery to you and I. And essentially it's to buy the equipment at Grimsby and Scunthorpe Hospital specifically for bowel cancer patients and bowel related illnesses. The equipment is there currently, but it's like driving a Ford at the minute. This equipment's going to be a bit more like a Ferrari, reduces surgery time, it reduces scarring, it reduces recovery. So patients are going to get like a first class treatment at an NHS hospital.
With state-of-the-art facilities.
Yeah, most definitely.
Lauren, how much money is needed in total?
200,000 for the appeal.
Okay.
So 100,000 per site.
Okay, so you decided to hold this skydive as a way of raising those vital funds
it
for
should
this service.
it should raise us about £7,500 as long as people like Toby do raise their £500 target. Okay. So it'll be really, really good, a really good boost to it.
Fingers crossed. Are you still looking for people to take part?
Yes and no. So we were influxed with lots of people wanting to take part because we've agreed that it's only a £50 deposit from the actual skydiver themselves, or Daredevil in this case, and then they have to raise the £500. So we had 10 places, they've all gone, so we've increased it to 20. We've got an expression of interest of 42 people, so we're hoping to have between 20 and 30 people skydive for us.
So there's a lot of competitive and very brave souls out there,
Definitely,
Lauren, wanting to take part. Roughly 15,000 feet above?
Yeah.
Up in the sky?
Absolutely.
Is it something you could do yourself?
No, not a chance. I'll be at the bottom waving and taking photos and doing Facebook and Twitter, I think.
You will be there.
But yeah, we've got a mixture of people, as Toby mentioned. Toby works for the hospital, which is another reason why he's wanting to raise money for the hospital's charity. But we've got our postman on board. We've got a nurse who's one of the rear into gear nurses. We've got a 78-year-old man. We've got our apprentice. He's only 19. So we've got a really good mixture of people taking part. So it's really exciting.
If we have any brave souls watching the programme this evening and they want to take part, Lauren, what should they do?
They can get in touch with me at lauren.alexander@nhs.net, or ring the hospital's line and ask for the Health Tree Foundation.
And that's the hospital charity for both Scunthorpe and Grimsby Hospitals?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Toby, you've never done anything like this before, we were saying.
Never.
Are you a keen sportsman yourself? Because obviously there's a sporting theme with this event. Do you have an interest in sport?
I've got an interest in football. I used to play, but I sort of lost time for that with work and what have you. I just do a bit of walking, a bit of running, so I enjoy me running. But nothing as thrill-seeking as a parachute jump or a skydive. So
that's a very good.
I'd say thrill-seeking is the best way to put it. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. Well, Toby, I wish you all the best. Good luck for September.
Thank you.
And Lauren, thank you very much. And thank you both very much for coming in this evening.
Thank you.
Now here's Jack with all the sport.
Hull FC secured their place in the top 4 of the Super League on Friday night with a 14-10 victory over the Huddersfield Giants at the KCOM Stadium. Captain Gareth Ellis returned to the side for the game and put in a great defensive performance to earn himself the Man of the Match award for the Black and Whites. Tries from Mark Minicello and Josh Bowden and 3 extras from Mark Sneed clinched the win for the home side. This was FC's final game of the regular season as they now head into the Super 8 stage of the competition. Before that though, they faced Leeds Rhinos next Saturday in the semi-final of the Challenge Cup. Across the city, Hull KR ended their regular championship campaign with a second loss in a row after going down 28-6 to Halifax. Kieran Moss scored their only try as they head into the Super 8s on the back of another defeat. Head coach Tim Sheen says he was disappointed with his team's response and added that they have 2 weeks to put it right. As mentioned, KR return to action in 2 weeks' time for the Super 8 qualifiers. Details of the fixtures for the 8s will be announced on Wednesday. Football now, and Hull City rounded off their tour of Portugal with a victory on Saturday evening. They beat Benfica 1-0 thanks to a spectacular goal from Jarrod Bowen in the 59th minute. Captain Michael Dawson was sent off in the early stages of the fixture for bringing down his opponent on the edge of the City box. However, City held on for the win. New signing Kevin Stewart made his first appearance for the Tigers, playing the full 90 minutes. Leonard Slutsky says he was delighted with his team's win and is pleased that the players are believing in his ideas. They now head back to East Yorkshire and round off their pre-season preparations tomorrow night when they play French side FC Nantes tomorrow night. The game is going to be played at Hull KR's home of Craven Park as the KCOM Stadium pitch goes under some repairs ahead of the new season. Kick-off for that one is at 7:45. Scunthorpe United finished off their Austrian tour with an emphatic 6-0 win against fourth-tier side SV Austria Salzburg. A brace from Hakim Adelakun and solitary goals from Kevin Van Veen, Josh Morris, Cameron Burgess and Paddy Madden made sure the Iron head back to Lincolnshire with a comfortable victory. Their next play on Wednesday evening when they welcome Championship side Sunderland to Glanford Park. A youthful Grimsby Town side were knocked out of the Lincolnshire Senior Cup by Boston on Saturday afternoon. They lost 3-0 to the National League North side. The first team return to action tomorrow night when they host Blackburn at Blundell Park. And finally, North Ferriby are in action this evening. They are at home to Halifax Town, and we will provide details of the game in tomorrow's bulletin. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's it for tonight, I'm afraid. As always, if you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv. You can also phone our news desk, which is the Grimsby number 01472315553, or put pen to paper and write to us at the usual address, Estuary TV, Nuns Corner, Laceby Road, Grimsby, North East Lincolnshire, DN34 5BQ. As always, we look forward to hearing from you with any interesting news stories you may have. Joining me on the sofa tomorrow, Jenna Salmon and Tammy Maslin on Fit Mums, which is launching in Grimsby later this year, and Talking Legends with Justin Naggs. Until tomorrow, from all of us on the team, have a great Monday evening. Good evening.